Hey, what's going on, folks? It's Creative Duelist here, and I've been making decks creative since 2016. Welcome, folks. Today I'm here with my WitchCrafter deck profile. This is my current build. There's certain card choices I'd like to kind of change, but I'll go over those as I go on with the deck profile. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of such. So let's begin. So I'm going to start off with the kind of like the giantesses, as I call them. The WitchCrafters. So we've got the boss monsters. So we got the double WitchCrafter Golem, Aruru. I might cut this down to 1 because I don't like her effect where she, during your opponent's standby phase, she returns herself back to the hand, which sucks. But I do like her effect where if your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster you control, or if they target it for an attack, you can special summon this, and you can either add a WitchCrafter spell from your graveyard to your hand, or you can bounce back a card your opponent controls, which is really good. But I just don't like the fact that she returns herself to hand, so she's not a reliable boss monster, because, you know, she's very situational. But then, of course, I've got the one, Madame Viri. She's, like, the best one in my opinion. She's really good. You get her out and Heine, bro, you're set to go. I like her effect where you can boost your spellcaster monster's attack and defense for each spell card you have in your hand. I like it because it doesn't discriminate. It could be any spell, any spells. It doesn't have to be WitchCrafter spells. And this, you can apply this effect pretty much during damage calc, which is really good. And I like her. She's got like a, let me see, kind of like a ruler. Is it Dark Ruler No More effect? So like you get to discard a spell card and then just neg all face-up monster effects your opponent controls. It's so reactive, really good in those circumstances. So that's why I play one of her. 2, I don't really see the need for 2 because if you draw this, it's a dead card essentially, which sucks. And then of course got the one WitchCrafter Heine. I know people play 2 copies of this and the other copy of the other WitchCrafter. I just don't have that, and I've only was able to get 1 copy of this because this was the cheapest one I could find, because these aren't cheap. You know, the expensive super rare. But Heine pretty much really good. You lock your opponent out pretty much once you get Secret Village and the By Street on the field, and Heine. Heine's literally a masterpiece, minus her own protection. You know, she's like a masterpiece, a pseudo masterpiece. So during your opponent's turn, you can just ditch a spell and pop a face-up card your opponent controls. So she's really good in that aspect. That's why we only play. I only play 1 because I've only got 1, but you can play 2 if you'd like. But again, there is the risk factor of it being bricky, unless you want to cut one of the golems out. But onto the small little WitchCrafter stuff. I've got the triple Jenny. This is kind of new. All the smaller WitchCrafters have this universal effect where you can tribute them and send and discard a spell card, and you special summon any WitchCrafter from the deck to your side of the field. And they also have different grave effects as well. So what she does, you can banish her and a WitchCrafter spell, and you basically apply the effect of the spell that you banish, which is very good. So you get double usage. But the sad part is you have to banish the spell so it doesn't come back like during your end phase like normal. Then we've got the triple WitchCrafter Pottery. I believe that's how you pronounce it. So again, her graveyard effect is you can banish her. She's like a Dark World Dealings for you, so you can draw a card and ditch a WitchCrafter card. Really good. She's really good, especially if you brick into any of these big ones. So she helps to unbrick. So you can just use Holiday to reborn these back. Then we've got the triple Scimitar, or a Scimitar. Or however you, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that might be a reference to a sword, scimitar. But anyway, I like her effect, so you can banish her, and you get to Foolish Burial a WitchCrafter spell and trap from your deck to your graveyard. So what I like to always do with her is I always immediately send By Street, so I can get the the lock going on, which I'll show you folks at the end of the video. Then I got a pottery, a potterer. Is that how you, I need to check the pronunciations. I think they're puns for like spells and cauldrons and stuff. I might be wrong, but anyway, what she does, you can banish her, and she pretty much is a warrior returning alive for your WitchCrafter cards in your graveyard, which is really good. And that's going to round up the monster lineup, folks. Just a bunch of WitchCrafter stuff. Okay, onto the spells. For my spells, I do play the triple secret village. This card is so busted, especially if you get it off. This is just MVP. You must play triple secret village of the spellcasters. Very important to play. Then I've got the triple WitchCrafter creation. Finally got reprinted. There was no way in hell I was spending $100 on secret rares. You must be out of your mind. But anyway, so what it does is you get to add any WitchCrafter monster from your deck to your hand. And during your end phase, all of these WitchCrafter spells have this effect. You can add, during your end phase, you can add this card back to your hand from your graveyard. But be careful, because what kind of is slow about WitchCrafters, if you burn through your WitchCrafter spells, you won't be able to add them back to your add them back from your graveyard to your hand, because you can only use one effect per turn. So you gotta use them wisely. And then we got the triple WitchCrafter holiday. It literally it's a monster reborn for WitchCrafters. You bring out a WitchCrafter from the grave. Pretty simple. And then double WitchCrafter buy street. This card is so good. This card differs a little bit. Instead of going to your hand, what it does, you can basically put it in your spell and trap slot instead. So you basically place it into your spell and trap zone, which is very good. If it's in your graveyard, if you control a WitchCrafter monster, you need a WitchCrafter monster on the field for that effect to even resolve. So make sure you have one on the field. So yeah, 2 WitchCrafter buy street, and of course it has another effect where you can, if you was to pretty much discard a spell card for the effect of the WitchCrafter monster, you can send it to the field instead. But we don't usually do that because we want this on the field by street. Very important. Then we've got 1 scroll. Once per turn, when your spellcaster monster destroys a monster of a battle, you can draw a card, and you can only use the following effect of these bullet points once per turn. So if a WitchCrafter monster you control would discard to activate its effect, you can pretty much, again, similar to buy street, you can just send scroll from your field to the grave instead. And during the end phase, again, same effect with buy street. If you have this in your graveyard, if you didn't use the effect at all, you can basically put this back into your spell and trap zone, which is very good. So we just play 1 scroll, because it's not the best. 1 collaboration basically allows your WitchCrafter monster to attack twice. And your opponent can't activate spells and traps, so it makes it into an Ancient Gear Golem, essentially, which is pretty good. And then 1 draping. This doesn't come up very often, but what it's good for, it's good against decks that play a lot of spells and traps. So if your opponent has like a bunch of traps or spells, you can target spells and traps your opponent controls up to a number of WitchCrafter monsters you control, and then you just return those cards back to the hand, which is pretty nice. So it bounces them back. And I believe that's going to round up all the WitchCrafter spells. So I'm going to go on to the rest of the spells real quick. I've got double Foolish Burial Goods, very important. 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Monster Reborn, Terraforming, 1 for 1, and Raigeki. And the other stuff I'm kind of contemplating just going to take out. Double Secrets and double Knowledge. The problem is I don't usually get Knowledge off, because I don't usually, when I make my normal summon, I don't want to waste it. Depending on the situation, I might just cut these out completely and play the bamboo swords, because the bamboo swords seem more reliable. I just need some more time and resources to get the rest of the bamboo cards. But yeah, I'll probably replace these. I'll take these out and put the bamboo engine in. I think the bamboo engine is a lot more viable instead of the spell books. But this is more of a budget option, I guess, if you guys can't afford the bamboo sword engine. And for last of traps, just got double summon limit. Summon limit is going to be the most broken card within this format. And I think Konami's going to hit this card. This card is so stupid. I'll show you at the end of the video what you can do with summon limit. And then one masterpiece. So if you control a WitchCrafter monster, you get to target a spell card in anyone's grave. Add one card with the same name from your deck to your hand of what you targeted. And it has another effect where during either player's turn, except the turn this card was sent to your graveyard, you can banish this card and any number of spells from your graveyard, and you special summon WitchCrafter monsters from your deck, whose level equals the number of spells banish to activate this effect. That effect, it's not that good because you really don't want to banish your spells. Well, the only spells you probably banish is the fodder ones like these, which you've done with them. But yes, that's pretty much it for the main deck, folks. I play no extra deck. Honestly, you don't need an extra deck. So I'm going to show you the main combo, what you'll do. WitchCrafters, the whole point of WitchCrafters. So I'll show you what you can do with this deck. So let's say we had Scimitar, a random spell, and summon limit. Let me show you why summon limit's broken in this build, in this deck. So you get you normal summon your Scimitar, you use the effect, you discard any random spell in your hand, and then you special summon out your WitchCrafter Heine. Then you're going to use the effect of your Scimitar, you're going to banish her, and then you're going to Foolish Burial a WitchCrafter spell. So you're going to send by street, and then you're going to set, sorry my bad, you're going to set your summon limit, and then at end phase, you're more than likely going to have spells in your hand. End phase, use by street's effect to put it in your spell and trap zone, and then you have a Heine, and pretty much you're going to have, for example, you might just have spells in your hand, pretty much more than likely. And then your opponent turn starts. What you're going to do next, you're going to activate your summon limit. Your opponent, again, can't summon more than twice. Heine can pretty much neg any opponent's normal summon, or if they try and make a play. And your opponent is going to have a tough time getting rid of the Heine because they need to destroy this twice or blow up the buy street. So they're going to have a tough time. So that's usually the lock. And if your opponent can't break this, you win, essentially, because then you get to do whatever you like next turn and then just, you know, pick your opponent apart. So that's the basic thing you can do with WitchCrafters. And that's pretty much it for the video. Thank you all for watching. If you folks enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like. Comment down below. Feedback is always nice to hear. Tell me your thoughts down in the comment section. But yes, folks, Creative Duelist signing out. Peace.